Welcome in. It is another Ask Us Anything. You can do that right now in the chat room. Ask us anything you want. We'll answer. We are at Downtown Axe in Trussville with our friends from Hemphill Services. This is a super cool place. If you have never been, right here in, as it would say in the name of the place, downtown Trussville.
Yep, Axe, downtown Trussville.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, as we wait for things to populate here, and we'll do, as Brown said, a Ask Us Anything throughout the day and update you on a couple of things going on in the sports world and get you ready for our trip over to Atlanta for SEC Media Days. By the time we said, I've been here for an hour now, I haven't thrown one axe yet.
I've not either.
I want to throw an axe before we get out of here.
Have you guys ever done it?
I've never done it.
I've never thrown an axe, ever.
There's actually there's an art to it. I was taught at the place I went.
Wait. Are you surprised that Brown's about to tell us how to throw an axe?
No.
I mean, have you ever thrown an axe?
I haven't.
Well, I have.
I got a Flint story real quick though.
Oh, it involves an axe. I am stunned.
No.
Save it for it to populate, and then we'll get to it.
Yeah. So we'll get to it. Axe downtown in Trussville. No, the one time I went, and I will see if the people here agree later on when we throw one. And I believe Lunsford is going to video us. I believe it's a video of us throwing one. There's a way you think you should do it, and then there's a way you should do it, right? And I was doing it the wrong way. And once I was taught to do it the right way, it's not actually as hard as you would imagine.
Well, here's what I would imagine. You grab it by the end of the handle.
That's a good start.
And the non-sharp end.
Yeah, and it's just an overhead toss.
Yep.
And then you get a feel for it.
Mm-hmm.
I would start off
They're going to bring us one right here so we can.
Can I show you the way I would throw it? I think I would, because, I always go worst case scenario.
I love the fact that
I think I would throw it like this, but then as I line it up, that could be dangerous. And
you think maybe
get it in the forehead?
Yeah.
But do you throw it backwards like that?
No.
No.
Let me see it Dunaway.
Well, I'll go ahead and tell you.
Don't let Dunaway in that thing.
That's a lot heavier than I thought it was going to be too. You got something in wood? Can I throw a wooden axe?
It's actually, I thought it would be bigger.
Really?
Yeah, it's got good weight to it, but I thought it would be like a full size.
You were looking for a bigger axe?
Yeah, no, this is the kind of axe you want to throw, though.
Lance likes a big axe.
He does.
Yeah. You know what? I feel like I spent a lot of time with you guys.
You do.
We have lately.
Yeah.
Can I get up and toss it? I'm going to try to hit Wimp. You see Wimp on the wall?
Is Wimp on the wall? Kind of looks like Wimp, doesn't it?
Yeah, a little bit. You got to get to the red line. We have a lot of liability.
Some liability.
I'm learning about liability.
I'm not going to toss it through the crowd. My first throw ever.
Well, hurry up. The clock's ticking on that one over there. 6:56. You got 64 minutes and 56 seconds to make a throw.
I'm just going to go toss one.
Okay,
real quick.
do that.
All right, LT's going to toss one.
That's Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. I'm Jim Dunaway. Lunsford's out here. It's been a busy day already on the show. If you missed it, Charles Barkley was with us on the live version of the next round. Earlier this week, we're out the Barons. And on these specialty shows, we do an Ask Us Anything. You can jump in and ask the questions, and we'll talk just about anything. But if you missed the headlines earlier with us on the live show, Charles Barkley told us that he has been contacted.
Oh, my gosh. That was louder than I imagined.
Argo got behind that a little bit,
Did that
too.
scare you a little bit?
A little volume.
Huh? Oh, Lunsford's gonna punch this up so we can watch live.
Oh,
hang on.
Let's go.
There we go.
Look at this technology. Here we go. Lance's first throw up.
You throw two.
Well, that's the way you throw it.
You throw two-handed?
Yeah, that's what they said. That would have killed
I
somebody.
don't know if I can throw two-handed.
I'm gonna stop on that one right now.
All right.
Yeah.
I felt a little shaky though.
I would like to throw the small one. Is that for juniors, the small axe?
Get up and go over there and throw one while Lunsford's got the camera up. I'm sitting right here. We are at Axe Downtown in Trussville, 211 Main Street in Trussville. You can see more at axedowntown.com, axedowntown.com. And we're here with our buddies from Hemphill Services, good people at Hemphill Services, Chad and Adam and the gang there. 229-2090, 229-2090, hemphillservices.com. Here goes Dunaway.
Yeah, I want to try the one hand. One hand's gonna be more comfortable. Two's tough.
You might have killed him with a blunt force trauma there, Dunaway.
Hey, who was the Jacksonville Jag kicker that split his shin open? Do you remember that?
Robbie Gould?
No.
Was it Robbie Gould?
No.
Did he ever kick for the Jags?
No,
Did I
he
just
didn't.
pull that out of the
49ers and Bears.
Yeah.
But it was he was a really good kicker for a while, but he split his shin cutting wood. At least that's what he said.
Yeah.
Probably crazy girlfriend.
Dunaway's 0 for 2 now.
Well, I got to remind you, I'm 1 for 1.
You aren't 1 for 1, and you just dropped the mic and walked out, didn't
I
you?
did, but I feel better about and Dunaway's busting wood up. I feel better about the one-hand toss. I thought I was supposed to do it with 2 hands.
Yeah.
I feel better
All
about
right, here's
one-hand.
Dunaway on throw number 3. Axe downtown in Trussville.
And he's out. Did you toss one or two-handed when you did it?
Two-handed.
Okay.
Two-handed.
Okay.
We'll go later. Lunsford is going to show us. Don't forget, you got to retweet this. I know we're just doing business here on the air.
My favorite part is that my friend's little sister,
right,
understands my fragile ego enough to say, I did think it was an athletic throw, though. You looked very athletic doing it.
You looked fantastic.
Yeah.
We're going to do Ask Us Anything now that we've populated. But Lance, before that, just being in a place that has axes thrown into wood, said, I got a story about the Flints. Now, if you don't remember, the Flints are the people that grew up with Lance that
10 kids.
They've been the subject of many, many, many stories.
Yeah. So, and Michael's one of my best friends, but so they
had 10 kids, huh?
Yeah. Their basement, they ended up doing plywood to separate a couple of extra bedrooms. And so
they just had plywood right down between.
They did.
Okay.
But Michael's oldest brother, Boyd, liked to throw knives.
Right.
But not only did he like to throw knives, he liked to throw knives at Michael. So Michael would have to get against the wall and he would throw knives around him. Now, Boyd was a pretty good shot with the knife.
Yeah.
And he wanted me to do it. And I was like, ain't happening.
Not happening.
But he would throw knives. He never hit Michael. But literally, I would watch Michael back against the plywood and Boyd would throw knives around him.
And
circus act.
So he'd do this, hands out, and he'd land them right here.
And leg spread.
He would not throw between the legs.
Swear to God, he did.
Oh, my goodness.
That is.
I'm not making it up.
That's brotherly love right there to let it happen.
Well, no, he didn't want to. It was more, he was bullying. He's like, yeah, you get against the wall.
Yeah. He was the older brother and he was just bullying.
Yeah.
Back to what Barkley told us earlier today, Charles Barkley, and you can see this part of our interview earlier where he said he was being approached by the Live Golf Tour to be a analyst on the golf tour, and that he's going to listen to Greg Norman. We didn't get a chance to react to that as it happened live on the show. So I'd love to get y'all's reaction. We'll start with you, LT, and work our way around.
Well, it's funny. I mean, he showed me a text in break how Greg Norman, you saw it, had texted him and said, hey, when can we talk? And Barkley ghosted him until a day later.
Yeah, now Barkley said, I was playing golf in Aspen or Lake Tahoe.
Wouldn't you feel obligated if Greg Norman sent you a text? You pretty much hit him back pretty quickly.
I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's good for Liv if they're really going to grow this thing. And Brown brought this point up earlier during the show from 9 to 1 that they've got to add entertainment value to this. You've got to have some personality because I don't know what to expect if I was ever to watch it. I don't know if I would watch it, but I know if Barkley was on a broadcast and it was on a network that I could watch, I would watch.
Well, that's the first thing. That's the first thing. They got to get an American network to buy into it. They got to put it on American TV.
I know everybody says that, but I gave you guys the numbers that their Thursday and Friday, viewing audience were neck and neck with the average viewing audience. And I know that's not apples to apples. I get all that.
Let me rephrase it.
Okay.
They got to make it look more like an American
I don't
television broadcast.
Yeah. I think they can survive not being on TV. Yeah. But they got to make it look. It's got to feel more like what we're comfortable with.
That's right. I can watch it on YouTube. It's just got to look like it's the CBS, NBC, ABC broadcast.
Right now, that I don't know that Charles does that. I don't know that he feels more comfortable because you're not used to a guy like Charles Barkley doing golf. I mean, that's more of a kind of a sideshow for the No,
I'm okay with that.
The made for TV deals.
I'm talking about the graphics, the camera shots, the angles, the quality of even the replays, the highlights.
Let's also remember Marty and Wendy Bird didn't care if the funeral home made money.
They did not.
And you got to look at that. I mean, these guys are throwing around so much money. You really wonder if return on investment even enters their minds.
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting. What did you think of it?
The same thing Lance just said is the one thing this has been missing. They've gotten huge names in the world of golf. They've got a lot of people to get involved in this, but the production just has not been. It hasn't had any pop to it, and it needs something with pop. And Charles certainly brings that. At least his name does. I mean, look, I'm looking at the national organizations that have just shared our interview. I think that's a good indication.
Who has, by the way?
USA Today, number of the golf publications, Clay with Outkick. I think a lot of them have. I mean, I've fallen behind here, but I think that is just.
Let me ask you if they, after this first year, going into year 2, make the announcement that our broadcast team will be headed up by insert whoever's a big face of play-by-play in sports that is not tied to someone who will get canceled or shut down. Nick Faldo and Charles Barkley. That'd be a pretty good trio to throw out there for year 2 of their television product, right?
Yeah, and I don't even know if you necessarily. I guess you've got to have a guy like Nick Faldo. You got to have an analyst.
Now,
analyst like
Faldo
that.
claims 100% he's not doing it.
That's what he
that
keeps
he's just
saying.
retiring. Yeah, of course. Brooks Koepka said he wasn't going to go play on the tour, and there
That's
he
right.
is.
Well, you think about it. Charles said 12 events, and he could still do NBA and make probably 3 times what he's making at TNT.
I would not be stunned. I mean, Lance threw this number out on the air. I would not be stunned if it was $25 to $50 million when you consider what they're paying the players to come over there.
That's
And
right.
Charles is every bit as big of a name as Phil Mickelson or Brooks Koepka or any of those guys. I mean, he's the equal name of them.
I think more people would watch for Charles than those guys.
I kind of agree.
Yeah.
So why would you not? If you're going to pay Mickelson 150, 200 million to head this thing up, would you not pay Charles 50 to be the kind of the face of your media?
25 is a steal.
I would say so.
Yeah,
but
I'm going to go on and predict that he's going to get 50 million, and I think he'll take it.
I do too.
Yep.
I say.
I think if it gets north of 25, he takes it.
I say he gets 30 and he takes it.
And
For 11 events.
As good a friends as we are with Charles, I'm not even 100% certain what TNT is paying him. So I don't even know how to.
So I knew originally, but
yeah.
that was 10 years ago.
I've got a ballpark in mind.
The contract that he told us about, he told us again on the air today, that story, I think it worked out to be about $10 million a year. And that was 10 years ago.
Yeah. It's up from there, but I don't know what that number is, but this would exceed that number.
As Charles would say, Tony Romo money.
Yeah. Well,
he's going to make a lot of money.
But if you think about it, he could become the highest paid person in sports broadcasting with this type of deal from Live, because
it could be what walks him away from the NBA on TNT, something he's talked about many times, because it's so many dates.
That's a grind.
It is so many dates, and this would be 11 weekends basically. It'd be his kind of schedule.
Yeah, I think with playoffs, he's doing close to 100 nights.
Yeah. That's a lot of work.
People will say, oh, man, he's just talking about basketball, but he gets there early. He leaves at like 3 or 4 in the morning. I mean, he doesn't have a regular life during basketball season. Yeah. And to be able to do 12 events, travel around.
Then factor in the NCAA tournament now where he's having to go up there and do all that work and work those events in. It's turned into a grind for him.
And he's got to prep. Like I would assume if he does Live, he's just there for entertainment. I mean, he really doesn't have to do any prep.
That's right.
Shows up and just talks.
Yahoo Sports now has it. So, I mean, it's just him saying on our show that he was considering it. You see the type of reaction he gets. That, I mean, multiply that by 100 if he actually accepts a spot with him.
We're here in Trussville, a place we've always loved, right here on the main part of the historic downtown area of Trussville, Axe Downtown Trussville. And it's a new facility opened up, what they say, back in May?
Yeah, they have not been here very long. Let me tell you what they did, though. Let me tell you what they did. They went around. These places are in other spots. I'll never forget the first Trash on the Table story we did on one of these places.
Well, we tried to name it, right?
Yeah, I think we were trying to say what they would name the place.
Yeah.
So they went around and they went and looked at these places and said, okay, we like this about this one, we don't like this. So they took all the stuff they liked and they put it in this location. And one of the things that sets them apart is they've got projectors in every bay, and the targets are projected onto the wood. I mean, it's not like some can of spray paint where you just spray a target. I mean, they got actual targets projected up there.
It looks really good. You can play other games. You can be a duck hunter. You can play tic-tac-toe.
Yeah.
The building itself looks fantastic.
It's beautiful. Good parking.
Smells like wood. Great parking.
And everything you would want.
Best part of this place is there's breweries and restaurants and ice cream shops and everything right around it as well. You can make a night of it out on the town here in Trussville.
Yeah, we've talked about Birmingham and how it's been revitalized over the last few years. I mean, Trussville is night and day from what I remember, 5-10 years ago.
Yep. Our buddies with Hemphill Services here as well. Adam and Chad, the whole crew, 229-2090, 229-2090. If it is not running right, flushing right, what is it?
Or draining
right. Or draining right. That's right.
Trust the name. Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is our friends at Hemphill Services.
Wow,
in fact, 205-229-2090.
In fact, Brown, they'll fix it. They'll fix it right, and they'll fix it the first time.
Yeah.
Will they?
Yep, they will.
They're
Remember
good
the name
guys.
Hemphill.
I do remember the name
I
Hemphill.
unfortunately have too much experience with them.
We've sent many people there. We just sent another happy customer on our show the other day. All right, y'all want to answer some questions?
Let's do it.
First off, my first question is, do they leave the frames without pictures on the wall like that to make it more opening, like when guests come?
I think it's pretty cool, though.
I do too.
Yeah. They killed those deers with an axe, just like 100 yards out.
It'd be quite the throw.
Yep. Robin says, what is the worst restaurant experience you can remember? Something in your food, bad service, etc. I mean, we've only got an hour, so God knows Dunaway could fill the whole hour with
Yeah.
bad restaurant
If you're
experience.
new to our show, no matter where I go, I'm not happy with food.
Yeah.
And that's sad.
I was talking.
That's not true, though. I love everywhere we go food wise.
And it's not true.
It's not, I love the food. I just always want what everyone else ordered. That's
Right.
what it comes down
What
to.
I told somebody the other day, there are two things I never trust Dunaway on: entertainment and restaurants. If he says something's bad entertainment wise, I'm probably going to like it. I don't even ask his opinion about restaurants.
Places out of business now, so I won't give the name. But we were there after our old radio show one day on a Black Friday, watching a football game, Arkansas and LSU.
Yep.
Good Arkansas back then, big football game, and I ordered nachos, and there was a live fly with one wing working its way out of the middle of my nachos.
Didn't you just pick around it?
No, C. Stu did.
Okay.
But it's fine.
In a pinch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's delicacy in some.
You didn't
parts
want
of
to
the
wait
world.
another 30 minutes for another order of nachos.
I
did
did
you?
not want to wait another 30
Yeah.
minutes on
Yeah.
another order of nachos.
I can't really think of a good one for me.
I was in a Chinese restaurant.
I remember this story.
Do you?
Mhm.
Have I told this? So I'm in a Chinese restaurant, and it's just your normal Chinese restaurant, and they've got the overhead music playing, the Far East Asian, music that you would hear in a Chinese restaurant. And just out of the blue, it completely switched to hardcore rap, F-bomb after F-bomb. And I'm in there with my family, and there are other families in there, and all the moms and dads are looking around like, what? And I mean, it is loud. And it is, I could not identify the group or the song, but it is MFer and Effer and the N-word,
All the
and
F'ers.
killing cops, all the Effers. And I'm like, what is going on here? And nobody seems alarmed by it other than the customers. Like the workers are just working right along. Like,
Yeah,
hey,
if they would have had Chinese rap, nobody
Yeah.
would have known, right?
So I'm finally the one that gets up and walks to the counter and say, hey, you guys might want to check the music. It just changed. It's pretty rough out there. And there was this huge language barrier, and he just smiled and shook his head at me. And I'm like, I don't think he understands what I'm saying.
Probably didn't.
Yeah, and I'm like, the music. The music. And he just kept smiling and shaking his head. I go back out and tell Jennifer, I'm like, I don't know if it's going to stop. I don't know if they understand what I'm saying. And eventually, I mean, it was several minutes. It finally stopped.
I've got
Good food, though.
I've got two stories. It had nothing to do with the restaurant messing up. It was me. And the first one, I think I was 10. I was in St. Petersburg, Florida for baseball camp. And they had fed us lunch, those pink hot dogs, almost red.
Right.
And I was riding in the back of the car, got kind of car sick. I went to Red Lobster with my parents. And right when I walked in, I wasn't feeling good. I threw up on the hostess
Wow.
At Red Lobster.
on her legs. Yeah.
Oh.
So you went from eating the Red Hots that was not good on you. It's on your stomach to Red Lobster.
Yeah. I mean, literally, I sprayed her with those red hot dogs.
Oh, God,
bad
bless,
is
that's
that?
awful. What time was it? Because she had to work the rest of her shift, probably.
6 at night.
Yeah.
She went
Yeah.
to the house.
Oh, you think?
You get the rest of the night off.
Oh.
That was bad.
That's a rule. If you get thrown up on, you get the rest of the night
So
off.
Good rule.
Anytime anybody brings up, I've never eaten those pink hot dogs again either.
I don't blame you.
They're called Red Hots, right? That's when the pink hot dogs are Red
maybe.
Hots.
You're talking about like the little red hot candy, aren't you?
No.
Oh,
That's-
okay. I know what
that's-
you're
it's,
talking about.
it's off of that. I think those type of weenies and hot dogs are very popular in the north.
Yeah,
You,
so
you calling it a weenie makes me really uncomfortable.
Yeah, I don't
And-
like it
and that
either.
has been something you've
it's a
done.
hot dog.
It's just a hot dog. You call it a weenie.
Well, it's not a hot dog until it's in the bun. It's a wiener, is what it is.
Well, you call it a weenie though.
Frankfurter.
A Frankfurt. It's
Yeah.
it's a.
It's not. It's got
So
to
you
go
call
in
it
a
a-
bun. It's got to be.
It's a bad sound. I just go hot dog.
I do
It's
too.
not
I
a
don't-
hot dog till it's in the bun.
No matter where we find it
I'm
in
sorry.
the
It's a weenie, right? It's a weenie. It's a Frankfurter. It's whatever.
So
you calls
when-
it a
when you
Frankfurter.
were naked on your honeymoon, did they call it a weenie?
I almost said it.
Uh,
I had such a good one too.
Oh, I think after today you probably let it fly.
Well, you know.
My other one, and you guys know this story. So this is in 1999, May of 99. I'd been playing golf, believe it or not. We used to play that par 3 out of Robert Trent Jones. a
Oh
lot.
yeah.
So there was like 8 of us, and we had been drinking beer all day. And then we get to
Chuck.
Superior Grill, and we start shooting tequila. My old man was with us, late Chuck. Shout out, R.I.P. So he left. Everybody was leaving.
I thought about Chuck last night. You know why?
Did you? What?
Viva La Vida came on.
Oh wow. Okay.
Colpe. I think of him every time I hear it.
I'm glad.
I think there are 2 songs. I'll go ahead and I'll do the 2 songs that I think of Lance on.
Yeah. So I know the other one. So everybody was closing up. I was supposed to closing tabs. It's probably 6 at night, and this is when they had the free buffet. It was completely packed out. So everybody's closing their tab. I'm one of the last to leave. I don't remember this, but when I was going to the bathroom, I lost my balance and I fell and I hit my head, the back of my head, on the corner of the bricks. And Donnie, the GM there, who's still there, said it sounded like an explosion. The next thing I know, I was getting wheeled out on a gurney heading to Brookwood Hospital with a completely packed out Superior Grill. I had to get my head stapled.
Did you bleed in the buffet?
I bled everywhere.
You couldn't tell it. Mixed right in with the salsa.
But can you imagine sitting there having dinner with your family and some dude falls out, splits his skull open, and the next thing you know, you got EMTs coming in and rushing him out?
So the 2 songs I think of Lance on are Viva La Vida, because of that was Chuck's favorite song, the Coldplay song, and I just always thought that was such an odd. You could have let me guess for a month, and I would have never have guessed that was his song.
I wouldn't have either.
So once he told us that, every time I hear it, I think of him. And then number 2 is the Marshall Tucker Band. Can't you see? Because he told that story that time about the bar fight that was an absolute brawl, and I've never heard that song again. It's such a good song too.
They kept playing.
I always remember Lance saying Marshall Tucker never checked up. They just kept going.
Mine is, I think it is, I can't remember the artist, but Today Was a Good Day. It makes me think of you. Today was a good day. Ice Cube. Yep. Today was a good day.
Joseph says, what do y'all think about Justin Thomas's attire today? I think it was awful. He was wearing joggers and a hoodie. I think you had some thoughts on it.
I thought it was weather appropriate, though.
No, I think if you're getting on a plane, if you're traveling, it's a good, comfortable way to travel. I think if you're checking out of a hotel, getting in a car and driving 5 hours, I think it's a good way to, if you're doing what we do for a living. But to go to one of the most, I mean, outside of Augusta, is that not the most prestigious golf course in the world?
Yeah. Yeah.
You can't show up like that.
No, he would not have worn that at Augusta. No way. No chance.
Yeah.
Lunsford's over here. I sort of like this setup with the brick and the different wall here, the couch and this chair. Is there a way we can expand and do a couple of segments during the live show like this every day?
This is about the 5th time you dropped this idea on us. I know you love this idea.
You know, I'm not going to get into the story we all know, Jimmy Business this morning.
Yes.
But he likes to spend money, but he doesn't like to make money.
It's the weirdest thing.
It's a bad business model.
It really is.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
You know
Jim
what I need?
What?
A rich friend.
Jim has always wanted an alternate set that's more laid back like this that we could just do part of the show on.
I just think we're live for 4 hours. It'd be good to bounce from set to set occasionally, go back and forth a little.
I mean, I like the casual. These are my favorite shows. They really are.
Yeah. And this takes.
Can you imagine just during trash every day we break over and we go to the trash set? It
takes me back to our original shows in this format when we were at the SEC Media Days about a year ago. You remember that?
Yeah.
Which I think everyone loved.
They did love. Well,
which I think they're going to be a little disappointed next week that we will not be in a big and tall department store.
Don't you love this guy? Just go ahead and set us up for failure.
Yeah.
You know, our
lowering
listeners.
expectations.
Yeah, okay.
So I can bring them back.
Todd asked us our best Herb Winches story. That's from Todd on YouTube. Best Herb Winches story.
So when I was
we
getting,
can tell on the air.
I can tell mine on the air.
Well, I've got some. I'll tell you. I'll tell 2 real quick. The first time we went out in Atlanta in 1998, it was Tennessee, Mississippi State the night before, and I drug Herb to a place. They used to have a franchise like Bar Nashville, Bar Atlanta, Bar New York. We went to Bar Atlanta. It was a big dance club. And I'll never forget they had the ice sculpture where they would pour the Jaeger down it.
Uh-huh.
And so I had Herb doing Jaeger shots off that ice.
I would have paid to watch that.
Second time today we have Jaeger stories.
Yeah, but Herb's always a good time. The other one, when I got Michelson, when I got my LASIK surgery, it was in 2003, and I was wearing contacts. Well, you couldn't wear contacts for like a week before getting the surgery. I didn't realize how blind I was. Again, I was 2200 without the contact. So I was just basically driving around blind. And I was driving a big Cadillac Sedan DeVille. And Herb would always park his red Lexus away about 3 feet out from that one pole. Same spot all the time.
Yep. It was
I
weird because it would force his back end to be out in the parking lot, basically.
I backed the sedan DeVille into his brand new red Lexus, and he had a complete come apart.
I wanted to be a sportscaster when I was 11 years old. So many times between 11 and the time I graduated at Montevallo, I had a chance to go see sportscasters in Birmingham at TV stations or see them out in the field. And they all were jerks except for Herb Winches.
Yeah.
Herb was the only one that didn't talk down to me. Never did. I saw him like 4 times. Once up at Channel 6, once when he was at Channel 13, and then once or twice at a high school football game where he would roll in occasionally. And he's the only one that didn't act like they were, what didn't stink and that they were big time and they were on TV. He's the only one that ever said, "Oh man, if this is what you want to do, you can do it. You can make it happen."
And it should be noted as we tell these stories, we could have more respect for Herb. Me personally, nobody did more for me in my career than Herb did. I mean,
well, I just told you as a
I
little
know.
kid,
I wanted to drive
if he
that
hadn't
point
told
home.
me I could do it, I'm not sure I could have
No,
done it.
he introduces himself when we're together as my mentor, which he really is.
No, there's no doubt. Yeah.
I remember once time he was at Outback Steakhouse in Hoover, and he was having dinner with Betty. Do you know this story?
I do, yes.
And I forgot what happened, but somehow some guy had said something really rude.
It was a guy. It was
He was
smoking a cigar. Yeah,
and Herb told him to put the cigar out.
That's right.
And so, like the guy came over and basically blew the cigar into their booth and walked out. Herb went and drug his ass out of the parking lot and made him come apologize to Betty.
Yep. 100%. That's
yeah, and
that's
I talked to
Herb.
people that actually were there.
Yeah.
I a ton of respect for Herb, and I admire that story right there. I like the way he has always acted around us. It means the world to me.
He my favorite one though, I'll never forget where we were. It was me, Herb Winches, Ray Mellick was doing the show at the time, and our intern was a guy named Landrum Roberts, who's now on Jocks. He was interning with us at the time. And we were down at Auburn. We'd gone down for a big media day, and Herb and Ray had done this big sit down with Tommy Tuberville, and we were doing our show from the Auburn Network studios. And I'll never forget, I was looking across the way we were sitting. I was just looking across at Herb, and Ray was next to him. And Herb was doing a Dell's marinade commercial. And I was looking down when he started the commercial, and I had my headphones on and all that. And Herb starts in on the commercial. He goes, "Ray, I tell you what I like to do is I like to pull my meat out and put my meat in the Dell." He just kept going with it. He kept talking about how he'd get his meat out. And I'm thinking, God, I cannot be a 3-year-old and laugh at this. I mean, why am I eternally in 3rd grade? And then I look up at Ray and he's leaned back shaking, and I lost it immediately. And then Herb started losing it. And when you're, that just makes it all worse. And he could not get through the end of the spot. I mean, like they had to go in Birmingham back to the break.
That was his version of Barkley breaking down when you're banging a guy.
Y'all stop. Or no, he said, "Come on."
Yeah,
But every day when I do a live read on the show, I think of Herb.
I do too.
I think Lavoie's and Nikki's
Yep.
on Finley.
Yep. Will ask 2 questions. Have y'all thought about doing an equivalent of the next round rewind?
That's where, if I understand what the question is, that's where we take a 45-minute highlight of our show.
The whole show's available now. I mean, no, we really have not. The whole genesis behind the rewind on Jocks was that our show was not available.
Yeah, to give you an opportunity if you did miss it.
Yeah, you got a little piece of it. They didn't want to make the whole thing available. Now the whole thing's available. So no, we really have not thought of that.
And truthfully, it's better for us if you go and watch it all or click on all of it.
He also asked, what's your biggest foot in the mouth moment? Dunaway, you've got to have one.
Oh, I've got 1,000 and almost had another one today.
Oh, yeah, you did, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
But as you think about that, you guys know mine. I'm not going to name the name, but it's a very prominent broadcaster. And I had sent a gift package. And I saw a commercial from the gift package that I had sent. And I was sitting on my couch. And I sent a text to that person, "Did you get the gift package?" And they responded, "Yes, thanks so much." And I went into one of my tirades and said a couple of things I shouldn't have said. And the next thing I know, like if you asked me right now to send a voice message, I would have no idea how to do it. It is the only voice message I've ever sent in my life. But it recorded exactly what I said about that person and sent it to them. You guys have heard the story. It was so uncomfortable. I had to laugh about it.
I've always found that person to be one of the nicest people in the world.
Well, I've run into them since, and they were really nice.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe they didn't listen to it. But if I get a voicemail, I'm going to listen to it like that. you know?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, the whole voice to text primarily, I assume somebody has
Do you
just
know how to do it?
yeah.
Well, we learned on Tuesday that apparently somewhere back in the day, I said something negative about Lance.
Oh, where do we start?
Yeah. I remember none of this.
No,
I went home and kept thinking about this on Tuesday, but I have foot in mouth moments all the time. I'm the world's greatest at walking up saying, "Hey, yeah, I remember you. How's your husband doing?" "Oh, we got a divorce a month ago."
Yeah,
Or
he got
or
decapitated by
he
a
died.
log
You
tree.
know, you didn't see it in the news. He died in a murder or something. I'm the worst about that.
It's just your timing is impeccable.
Yes.
I have got one of the there's two I cannot tell it though. I've got one of the greatest foot in the mouth stories of all time. I was next to the person doing it and had to stop them, but it is such a convoluted story. You almost had to be there, and I can't tell it without using names. And I know some of the people watch the show.
Speaking of
It'd be
being
super awkward.
Speaking of being there, you can always come out here at this beautiful new location in Trussville. This whole entertainment district's amazing. And we're about to talk to some of the folks who run this and our friends at Hemphill. But first, Hemphill Services, they take care of your cooling, heating, and plumbing needs since 1954. Adam, Chad, and the crew there remember the name Hemphill, and they are a proud sponsor of Lance's Lock every day and a lot more in our show. They, when Lance is hot or when his lock is cold, they're still there every day.
It's a good play right there.
Yeah, that's off the heating and the cooling.
Yeah, I get that.
Or when his plays are leaking a little bit. And also, we're at Axe Downtown Trussville. Is that the official name? Axe Downtown?
It is.
Axe Downtown.
See right there
Trussville.
below Laurel's head, right there.
Well,
It's on the wall.
Yeah, there you go. I do need a prompter. Axe Downtown Trussville. It makes me a lot more comfortable to read that.
So if you had to name your own axe place, what would you call it?
If I had an axe throwing place,
Kick an axe.
I would call mine Bad Axe.
yeah. Was it hard not to name it something cheesy like that? Yeah.
Axe to grind.
Oh, I like that.
Oh,
I like that.
wow.
Yeah.
Axe to grind. It's axe throwing in the front of men's club in the back.
Yeah.
Wow.
I
That's
like
pretty
that.
funny. That is pretty funny right
Well,
there.
we did a bunch of them that one day on the show. What was some of
I
those?
can't remember. That has been a long time ago.
What would the private room be called? The axe wound? That was bad. She set me up.
Oh,
yeah,
she
she
did.
did, she
Yeah,
did.
she did.
Yeah.
The bullseye. Daniel asked, when you're clipping your toenails, do you start with the pinky toe or the big boy toe?
Big boy toe.
Yep. I do too. I
I
feel
do
like
too. Yeah, I move left to right.
yeah,
Yep.
you spend more
From
time
right
on
to
the
left.
you spend more time on the big toe. By the time you get to the little piggy, it's like
You know
quick.
what's weird is
And I start thumb to pinky on my hands.
I have to cut my fingernails once a week.
I do too.
But my toenails are like every 3 weeks.
I bite my fingernails and I get my feet pedicured, so I don't really.
You don't bite your toenails?
No, not anymore. I
See-
used to when I was more limber.
I have to be careful. If you cut your fingernails down below the white,
Oh, it's terrible.
does it make your hands feel weird though?
Yeah.
It got like everything
The
feels
sensitivity on the tip of your fingers
so
bad.
strange,
Yeah.
isn't it? Does that bother you?
No, I bite mine when I get nervous.
What it
Yeah,
sounds like?
I am very careful when I'm cutting my fingernails. Did you guys ever get an ingrown toenail back in the day and you had to cut a V in your
Yes.
nail to grow
Yeah.
it back together?
Yep.
Wow, no.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, down in the quick.
Mhm.
There, if you ever get one pulled down in the quick, that hurts
Oh,
like
it's terrible.
crap. Oh, it hurts like crap.
Yep. It can keep you out of sporting event, right?
Yeah.
We've had people lose time on the field with a toe problem.
John asked, have we ever thought of starting a show mainly with Lunsford as the host?
Let me think about that.
Hey, you can fill in for me tomorrow.
Are you out tomorrow?
No,
Oh,
I could be.
okay.
I've got a big dinner coming up.
Well, Lunsford does have a podcast that he does during football season that we'd like
Yep.
to see the numbers go up on a bit.
Yep.
The high school football show with Jerry Young and John Lunsford.
Will says, great hour with Chuck earlier. How did y'all become such good friends with Chuck? This was even before we were together. He used to come on. Now, Jim knew him before I did, but he was always kind of come on our show. back when we were just some piddly AM show back in the day.
Yeah.
I think he liked me
I met him through Herb, back to Herb Winches. It was the first time I'd met him.
to go full circle with one of the owners here. I think he liked me because we became friends because he didn't like Rick Carley. And so he and I became better friends.
Wow.
Wow. So the first time I met him was when Baumhauer had the
I got
wings.
called Rick Carley when I got out here. So
No,
I
you
just-
didn't?
Yeah, by her, that girl right there. The
She
co-owner.
thought Rick Carley was coming. She was all excited. And she was like,
she was disappointed when I walked in when it wasn't Rick Carley.
They would have had his joggers on.
I said I would take Mike Rada, I'd take Jeff Spiegel. You could have called me any of the female broadcasters, anybody but Rick Carley.
So the first time I met Charles, you remember when Baumhauer's was in Brook Highland on the corner?
Oh,
where
yeah.
It was Baumhauer's, then
Yep.
Hooters, and now it's the Five Below.
was that their original Birmingham location?
That and Wildwood, I
Yeah,
think it was two.
yeah.
So I was in there one night, and Barkley was by himself. He was wearing a bucket hat, and he was sitting at the bar eating wings. And I went up and talked to him about the Lakers, and he was so nice. And that was the first time I met him. But the first time I ever really spent time with him was Ian knew him. Ian brought him on the show, and he gave me his number. And I was in Atlanta. I was with Drew, Michael Flint, and somebody
Always
else.
a Flint.
Flint.
Always
And
a
I
Flint.
sent
The Flints are Kevin Bacon.
They really are.
I sent Barkley a text. I said, "Are you getting out tonight?" And he said, "I'm having a party kicking off our 45 days of the NBA playoffs." He was like, "Come," and it was at a bowling alley, and we went and we hung out, and it's a good time.
I met him through Herb. I remember he and Herb were tight, and I got to know him through there, and then he's just been coming on over the years.
Yeah. As we said earlier on the show, he bought my bar tab the night I graduated college. And as he said on the air, not because of me, but because of the girls I was with.
Yeah, very believable.
Yeah.
Carson says
Three of them.
Carson says awkward dining experience. He was at Urban Air with the kids, and on the big screens in the food court, Saving Private Ryan.
Oh, wow.
Well, that early scene right there, that's gonna be tough for the food court. Lance Carson also is headed to Vegas this weekend. Reasonable sports bet to place with a potential big payout.
Oh, a future.
Reasonable sports bet to place with a
I-
potential big payout.
I don't think it'll win, but it was a Conor O'Gara story earlier
Jim's
today.
going to give him advice on a bet that's not going to win.
Plus,
So if you want to just piss your money away,
I think it's plus 230. You can get the field in college football to win the national championship. Everybody but Alabama, Georgia, and Ohio State. I think that is a bet in Vegas today.
Yeah, I would not take that bet. I would take one of those three to win the national championship.
You only get $34 to bet 100 on
Yeah.
that.
I think I'd take a flyer on the Bills to win the Super Bowl this year. I feel
Okay.
really good about that.
all right. Chris asked, how much harder was the tug of war than you guys thought it would be? That video was out. We completely got played on that one. Totally got played.
We did, but it was a lot tougher than I thought
Yeah.
it would be.
Well, I didn't know there was any technique to tug of war, right? They had a plan going in. We didn't have a plan. We started pulling.
I got to be honest.
felt
They were a little obnoxious about it.
They were because
Yeah,
they
yeah.
suckered us into it.
Yeah.
We started pulling, and I thought to myself, we're actually moving them a little bit.
They baited us in.
We've got a chance to win this.
I knew right when I heard pull, we were in
Yeah.
And
trouble.
then they
Over.
said pull,
Yeah.
and we
I just let it go so my hands wouldn't burn.
We look
I
like
didn't get rope burn.
we look like Peppermint Patty and 5 of her friends on Charlie
Yeah.
Brown.
Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah. Jay Pear asked, if you're not doing the show, what would your career be? Jim, you cannot use TV.
Jay Pear out in Dallas. Thank you for watching and listening. I think axe throwing is out after what we did earlier.
If you had to kill your food with an axe,
Is
better-
there a chance that the deer I hit with the dull end of the
Yeah,
axe
blunt
would
trauma,
die?
maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I'd have to go ahead and kill it after I just knocked it out. What would I do? I can't sing. I can't fix anything. I can't do a screwdriver.
I don't. I mean, we'd be in trouble if not
Yeah.
for this job. I don't think there's much out.
You
I
could
know
be a
nothing-
food critic.
I know nothing
He
about
hates
cars.
it all.
I
I don't know anything about cars either.
can't sell. I'm a horrible salesperson. We've proven that.
Yep.
Um,
Oh, God.
multiple times.
Yeah, that's been well established. We keep Dunaway away from any good clients.
There is nothing I can do. I could coach.
I know.
I could be a coach. I could coach baseball. I could coach PE.
Women's softball.
I could coach women's softball. I could umpire. I'm a great umpire.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know how much does a little league umpire make these days.
I was going to say
$50 a game?
$50 a game. Yeah.
And how many days I could do 2 a night? That's $100. Heck, hold on, I may have a raise here. $100 a night.
Little league
Is it
umpires are
cash?
making $50. Wow.
Is it an hour, 1 hour game? Hour and a half? Hour and a half?
Yeah,
Dang.
not the way I call strikes. There's no way we go an hour and a half.
I was getting paid $30.
That way rings them all
better
up.
be swinging, man.
Oh, he'd make it all about him.
No.
He'd be Leslie Nielsen and Naked Gun.
Hey, I used to tell them that pregame. I said, tell your kids to swing if it's close. I'm a pitcher's umpire.
Yeah.
I
Hey,
don't want anybody looking for a walk.
are you like a major league umpire? Do you have your own punch out call? You got to put a little flair on it, don't you? Yeah.
No, not too much, though, right?
No, you got to put some flair on it.
No, not too much.
Mm.
Yeah, but not too much, right? You just give them a little.
Well, you don't want to embarrass
give them a
them,
little
but
turn and a.
well, you got to let the crowd know. Oh yeah, I like it. Look at him. He's got his own.
Oh. As a coach, I would have wore you out. I
Yeah.
would have wore you out.
Dunaway, how many games would he
You'd have
get
had to toss me.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd have had to toss me.
I don't know what you're a good salesperson. You could sell anything.
I really don't know. I don't know.
I've never had another job, so I really don't
I
know.
really don't want to do anything.
I don't either. I'd like to be
That's a crappy question. I'll go ahead and ask you because that ruined the mood.
yeah. No, I'd like to be a very well-off investor. That's what I'd like to do if I didn't do this.
I'd like to be a well-off traveler,
Yeah.
but I don't like to travel really. I
Or
like
a professional golfer. I could be a professional golfer if I didn't do this.
You
I'd
could
like
not.
to be. No, I'd like to be. I couldn't be, but I'd like to.
Yeah, I'd like to be a supermodel for men.
Not with that body.
Do the male
a
supermodel?
caddy.
Yeah.
A caddy would be kind of fun, right?
Well, I don't know how these live tour caddies are getting paid. Like they're getting all their expenses taken care of, which is new for them. But if they're getting the standard percentages that the PGA Tour would pay, those guys are making bank.
Yeah,
Because of the money the players are getting paid.
I would assume they would.
I don't know.
The caddy has to offer advice though at times, right?
Oh yeah, I mean it's not just lugging a bag around. It's a team effort.
That's what you're great at, though, Dunaway.
I've got an opinion about everything.
Dunaway does have an opinion about everything. Zach asked for a Mount Rushmore of callers. The story.
Jeff.
Callers?
It starts with Jeff for me.
Jeff and Aniston has got to be on there. We used to have a guy.
I really enjoy JD when he calls from Huntsville. He's a
Yeah, he's
guy.
good.
Yep, he always had a good point usually.
We had a guy that used to call, and he passed away. Greg. He was the Auburn fan. Where was he from?
No, I think wasn't his name Jeff as well, or was it Greg?
I think it was Greg.
Greg from Pelham.
Greg from Pelham.
Yep, he would listen to
He's
us.
passed away.
He
Yeah.
did. He did.
Yeah, he died.
Did we go to his funeral? No, we didn't. We
did not.
We had a remote the day of his funeral.
Yeah.
We did. We did. Sadly, we did.
Hey, Greg knew the game, right?
Yeah. He would have approved.
Yeah, we were at Legacy. We were at Legacy. Yep.
I used to
Yeah.
like Pierre. Do you remember Pierre?
Pierre, yeah.
Pierre, I like
You
Pierre.
know how he got the name Pierre is his name was Terry, or is Terry. And we had a call screener that heard Pierre one time. So we puts him on hold and it was like Pierre at Trussville. And I was like, oh, uppity. We got a Pierre at Trussville.
But he sold like women's hair products.
Something like that. We go to the phone and we're like, Pierre. And he goes, Pierre? This is Terry. And then for the rest of the time, it was Pierre after that. He just adopted it. And the
Oh, I
same
like
thing
that.
happened to Jeffrey in Trussville. Something about these Trussville guys. Jeffrey in Trussville was a phenomenal caller, but I think he changed jobs so he couldn't call anymore. And he called in Jeffrey in Trussville one time, and the call screener put him on as the Shepherd. So we're like, let's go to the Shepherd.
I've always wondered why he was the shepherd.
The Shepherd. Yeah.
I liked him too.
Yeah. Jeffrey in Trussville. He's a funny guy. Big Auburn fan.
Rich from Hoover.
Rich
Yep,
from Hoover.
Big Tennessee fan.
Yeah. Jace. I don't know. Forget what his call name was, but
Yep.
Jace, the guy that dated all of our interns.
Yeah.
I think Greg in Pell City. He does
City.
a good job. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them. I don't think we could just do a Mount Rushmore.
God, we've been doing a show so long now that the guy who used to date all of our interns has gotten married and just had his first kid.
Yeah, and we've lost listeners.
You know, we lost a couple.
Well,
of
they've
listeners.
passed. Yeah.
Yeah.
MJ says Dunaway's the only one that knows how to cross his legs like a man. How about that? You've gone.
Not anymore. I've gone back. I've gone back.
This is the most comfortable way to sit. I don't.
Yeah, I really don't care.
It's bad on your hip to do the other way. My hip hurts when I do that.
No, I mean, I
That's
sit
like
like this sometimes, but you know, if I don't know why it is, but if I'm in a doctor's office, I sit like this. I used to sit like this when I'm coaching baseball too. I would sit like this.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Rhett.
I think it shows off the stirrup at that point. Back in the day, you'd
okay.
wear the stirrup.
Yeah. Rhett asked why there is TNR signage in the old McMillan's Big and Tall in the Galleria.
Well, that's where we did SEC Media
That's right.
Days last year, and we didn't take it down.
That's right. 1 year ago,
It was
almost to the week.
was a long Thursday. And we didn't leave.
I've got a feeling it's not going to get
Yeah,
taken down.
I think that's the reason he's asking. Yeah, that's where our original shows, and they're still up on YouTube, aren't they, Lunsford? Yeah, everything we've done still up. You could, if you want to do, you could go way, 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 way back and see our original stuff. And it was in McMillan's Big and Tall. Now you won't recognize it because there was a set that looked a lot like this, honestly.
It really did, and it still smelled like 1996 in there. It had a little polo smell to it.
The couches we used came from Abercrombie Fitch, so they smell like Abercrombie Fitch.
But
Absolutely.
McMillan's Big and Tall,
like a teenage boy.
Ultra McMillan used to be one of my clients, and he retired. Great guy, but he had that Virginian Southern accent.
Yes.
Yeah, good dude.
I like that.
Drake asked if the F-bombs dropped by Barkley were the first on the new platform. The first on the live show, yes.
The first F-bombs.
Yep. Who had to be dumped the most in the old platform? We didn't really do a whole lot of dumping back then, did we? Oh, I've dumped myself several times.
I got dumped twice in the entirety of my 20 years there.
The first, I didn't know a whole lot about talk radio when I started because I was on television. But one of the first shows Brown and I did together, we dumped Brown because he didn't know one word.
No, we didn't dump me, and people got PO'd.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
If there weren't ladies here, I'd repeat the word.
I used the euphemism that
it actually rhymes with Rick.
Yeah. I
you
used
throw a P in there and put those together and you get what it is.
So I just spell it for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used that. I didn't know it was at the time, didn't know it was a euphemism for, and I called somebody that name. And people called in complaining. And I was like, why are you complaining about that?
So you never heard that growing up?
Mm-mm.
Wow.
I mean, I heard it used, somebody call somebody that, but I didn't know it was a euphemism for a body part.
Yeah.
Was that pretty widely known?
Yeah.
Okay. I never made it to Calhoun County.
I mean, I shorten mine. I drop a letter and call them something else.
Well, yeah, but I wasn't going to say that.
It ain't a dick.
Yes. I'm glad Dunaway didn't say the other one.
I was worried about the other one.
Joseph says, do you have any good drinking stories from the high school years? I bet the Flints show up in these.
Yeah, we were terrible in high school. We all had fake IDs, or most of us. And these places just really wouldn't check the fake ID.
Yeah, there was that one place in Homewood y'all could go, right?
We had a 76 gas station on Green Springs.
We had Tobacco World in Alabaster. It was on the Pelham Alabaster line.
Tobacco
World. It was a little shack that sold just tobacco products and beer. And they didn't card you at all day for anything. You go in there and get all the beer you want.
What was the liquor store or
the cellar?
No, the one that was next to the old the WJOX building. It was right around the corner right there.
Yeah, it's called the Cellar.
Is the Cellar?
Yeah, it was. I don't know what it's called now, but it was called the Cellar.
And then y'all used to go there too?
We would go there, and then I worked at what is now Sonic, used to be the Great American Car Wash.
Yep.
And next door is a Chevron. And so when we were on duty, we'd walk over there and we get the little pony beers, and we would fill up. Zepp was one of the products at the car wash. We would fill it up with ice, and we would have the ponies, and we'd sit out there with music and drink, and we were on the clock.
My favorite drinking story, high school senior year. Kids don't drink until you're of age. But in high school, we had made a mistake and we were going to drink. We had lost a early evening baseball game that eliminated us from the state playoffs. We thought we had lost, I think, 3-2 to Sylacauga. We were in the same area back then. And Pelham, who had not won any area games, was playing Pell City. And the only way we were going to make it into the state playoffs is if we won, we controlled our own destiny. If we lost, Pell City would have to lose to Pelham and we'd have a playoff. But Pelham had never lost to anybody, and they were playing later that night. So we got a bunch of beer, some vodka, and everything else loaded up the back of Jimmy Stanbridge's truck. Jimmy Stanbridge, Nick, who was the first baseman, Nicky Stribling was the backup second baseman. Me, I was the center fielder, and one other guy, maybe Vince Weiser, who was our shortstop. And 4 girls, we were going camping on the pipeline, those little up and down hill pipelines. So we go up and down a bunch of hill. We couldn't even see the lights of Alabaster anymore. And we're out there. We've got a campfire going. I've walked, over a couple of other hills with my girl to go just sightseeing and stuff. And
I would pay for the awkward conversation for the walk. What you're saying on the way.
So we've got a blanket spread a couple of pipeline hills over, and in the sky you can see like like flashing blue lights. And I'm like, God, look at those lights. Where are they from? I wonder.
Not a police car,
And
obviously.
so, we throw on some clothes and go up to the top of the hill
Throw on some clothes.
and peek over down into the campfire area. And there's the Alabaster Police Department. And so we suit up and we go back down to the campfire, and they're pouring out all of our liquor and beer onto the ground.
It's like prohibition.
And I'm like, well, crap, we're busted now. And turns out Pelham had upset Pell City, and we had to be in at the school at 6 a.m. We had to be in Pell City at 11 a.m. the next day to play a playoff game. And Billy Woodham, our high school coach, had sent the police department out to find us, and they had found us. So here we were.
Wow. Did y'all win?
We did not. We were throwing up in buckets
Yeah,
behind the
amazingly.
dugout at 11 o'clock and lost the game.
We are at Axe Downtown in Trussville, 211 Main Street, axedowntown.com, axedowntown.com, info@axedowntown.com for more information on that. Our friends from Hemphill are here as well, 229-2090,
You want to talk to
229-2090,
some of them now?
sure, hemphillservices.com. If it's not flowing right, draining right, or flushing right, Hemphill, that's the name to trust right there.
Will they fix it?
They'll fix it, and they fix it right
Yep.
the first time and at a fair price.
At a fair price.
That's right, Jim.
That's right.
That's right.
Let's get some of them over here real quick.
Who wants to go first? Heath? All right, Heath,
talk,
come on.
talk to Argo.
You know? All right, Heath Argo. He's the proprietor here at Downtown Axe. I think his wife, or Axe Downtown, excuse me, his wife makes most of the decisions.
Don't they all?
Yeah, that's generally the way that works. So what was the why build this? What?
Well, we went and did this.
Not that I think it's a bad idea. I think it's a
no,
great idea, but I
no.
just wanted to ask why.
We and the other couple, Jeff and Michelle Lowry, they're other partners. We went out downtown and threw axes, and we're looking, and there's a place full of people, and we're like, man, this is fun. We need
Yeah.
something like this in Trussville.
Right.
We're all from Trussville, lived here. I grew up here my whole life. So we're like, man, how can we do this? How can we make it work? So we started looking into it. Did some pricing, priced out wood before it got so expensive, but thankfully that's coming back down. So we put it together, got with the landlord here, and we all agreed, and here we are, opened up on May 5th, and we've enjoyed it so far.
So outside of the other Axe place downtown, did you guys travel around and check other places out?
There were some phone calls made. I had been into Nashville before and thrown there, so there were some phone calls made.
So what would you consider yourself from A to F on axe throwing? Are you an A?
Am I an A?
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, you've practiced a lot here, right?
Oh, yeah. So I have a regular job. We actually had a company event here last night and had a little competition.
Yeah.
Which we're going to start doing here is opening up, like tournaments.
Right.
Of course, my team won the tournament. I mean,
Of
Well,
course.
of course,
and
yeah.
I do have, I
mean,
cheated a little bit, you're right. I threw probably more than anybody, but yeah, I'm an A.
Have
Okay.
you ever seen anything crazy here?
These lanes here, they're built certain height. We have some cages over some of these that are protecting a sprinkler system.
Mhm.
And somehow an axe wound up on top of that cage you see up there.
I do, yeah, like right up there.
Yeah. So
Above
we really,
lane 2.
How's that even possible?
we
It's
really don't know.
Incredible.
we really don't know.
Like I don't think if you stood there and tried to do it for an hour, you could.
I did see a video that went viral of somebody throwing the axe and it came right back at them.
Oh, yeah. And the good part is you try to catch them most of the time.
Oh
Right?
my gosh, that's the
So,
worst
I
thing.
I
you
wonder
could
if you're
do,
not
yeah.
paying attention.
That's why you sign a waiver when you walk in the door, right? So,
I was fully expecting that with Dunaway, by the way.
I'll get in trouble if I don't say this. She never mistaken the two, Jim Dunaway, Rick Carly. That didn't happen. I mean, it's a great story, but she was asking yesterday. She's not the typical person watching or listening to the show. So
Okay.
she's like, hey, who's on that show again? Is it Rick Carly? I said, no, baby, it's Jim Dunaway. And she's like, oh, okay. So, I'd be in trouble if I didn't correct that. I mean, she said you were,
I'm glad you did because
Right.
he would have been up all night
Right.
thinking about it.
she did talk about how much of a sexier man he is. So,
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Uh,
Carly's got like 30 Emmys, and Dunaway's only got 2.
yeah, but I mean, what's that for?
Huh?
That don't even mean nothing.
Oh,
right?
Emmys are a big deal.
Yeah.
All right, so Axe Downtown in Trussville, Axe Downtown in Trussville, like church groups. It's a great place. How many bays you got?
We got 10 bays.
10 bays. So like you bring in a church group, work group, good bonding, team bonding, things like that. Or if it's just date night, come on down here and hurl some axes.
Yeah, you really don't realize how many times you want to take out some frustration until you come down
Yeah.
and start throwing axes. So
Very therapeutic,
that
right?
that is a good first date, though. It's something you always remember.
Well, I mean, but if the girl was really good at it,
And you weren't.
you'd feel like
You're not going to get a second date.
I better sleep with one eye open.
Oh, it happened.
This is good with an axe.
I mean, we had a guy probably 6'5". He was probably 250. I was stacked up.
Yeah.
To hit the gym. Wasn't athletic enough with an axe.
That's right. But the girl whipped him.
Oh, yeah. And you know how that happens when you got a guy I'll go to the gym every day.
Yeah.
If it's your first date, do you say something like, if you're Dunaway, you do this? You're like, can I grab your axe?
He would.
I know he would. 100% he would. I'm just going to stay there and hold your axe.
that's
Nice axe.
And that's funny. We got preset names on the board, and those are up there.
Oh,
You know?
I'm sure they are.
You know, nice axe.
You have a heavy axe here, though.
Yeah.
Well, you got to be a man enough to throw it.
Yeah.
Well, it's true. That's
Hey,
true.
I stuck mine. I don't
You
know
did.
if you remember that.
I saw it.
Yeah. Dunaway was 0 for 3.
Yeah.
And I want to try the one-hand toss. I think I do much better with the one hand.
Well, he just didn't want to make you. He wanted you to look good on TV. That's what he told me earlier.
Yeah.
Heath, thanks for having us.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
appreciate it. Y'all.
Yeah, love the
Dargo.
place, man.
Yeah.
It's great.
Thank y'all. Y'all come down and see us and bring
We'll
your
do
family.
it. We're
will.
gonna throw some here in a minute and get some video. Axe downtown in Trussville. Dunaway's gonna rejoin us now. Richard wants to know, will we ever tell the biggest landmine of all time story on the air?
No.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
It's a split decision on that one.
Different answers.
Guess I get to break that
I
tie,
mean,
don't I?
people make jokes about the Titanic now. I don't.
Yeah.
Well, I guess never, but no
Yeah.
time soon.
I think we should tell the theater situation.
No, that's the one that's the worst.
I think that's the worst one.
No,
isn't
it's
it?
not the worst.
No.
Second worst.
The worst one we don't talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People figured out one of them. One of them got figured out somehow.
Yeah, but that one's the worst. The
Yeah.
theater one's the second worst.
Joseph asked, will Bo Nix be a weekly guest this year? We've talked about that.
I'd like to see it. I really would.
Yeah, I don't.
We're running out of time. 44 days till the kickoff of the
You know,
season.
the problem there would be if Ty Thompson, for whatever reason, was to beat Bo out and Bo ends up a backup.
Yeah,
in
we need a clause in the contract.
That's illegal in this state. I don't know if it is in Oregon. Well, it's not illegal, but you can't make it performance based, and that would technically be.
I think that
performance-based.
changed.
Heroin
if
and
it is.
morphine are legal in
Well, I know
Oregon.
everything's legal.
No, I
there.
think we changed the NIL rules.
I don't know.
I think they changed it.
Jason wants to know if Lunsford is ever going to tell his first impression story on the air.
Oh yeah, I forgot about
Here we
that.
go. Come back.
Come on.
Is it about me?
We don't have time. He said, "Will you tell it tomorrow on the show?" Okay, he says he'll do it on the show tomorrow. I wanted to go back to this. There was one back here.
Oh, by the way,
another one.
to show you how comfortable Lunsford is with us now, we saw his dad and his mom at the ballpark Tuesday night when we're doing the specialty show there after Rockstar sang the 7th inning stretch. And I said hi to his mom and said, when is my next part in one of her plays? She does community theater in Homewood. And she says, most people who appear in our plays for the first time write me a thank you note.
Ooh.
And turned and walked away.
Wow.
So which I didn't know was protocol. And
Dunaway said, well, I didn't have a real part. Barely even spoke.
so mental notes called Blakely's bouquet. He
Yeah.
said something to Lunsford's
There you go.
mom.
Jeff says, what was the transition from 10 to 2 to 6 to 10 at the old job like? Did y'all have to listen to Lance bitch for years? Yes.
It was actually, that was the first week we started to think about this.
Well, here's something Lance said, and I know you remember this. I don't know if I know he remembers saying this, and it's amazing this actually came true. Very early in our run in the mornings, LT said, we've got a 3-year contract.
We will not sign
I will not sign another contract to do mornings. And I think I told Dunaway on the side once, I was like, what's he think he's going to do if he doesn't sign a contract to do mornings? They're not going to move us out of mornings. And
I was working on it.
You know what? He's 100% right. He never signed another contract.
I can't tell you how much that aged me. It probably
It's
put
tough.
10 years on me. I got pneumonia the second week we were doing
A
it.
lot of things got blamed on mornings.
It really did.
Now the doctors were like, why do you have pneumonia? That's not normal.
You happen to do a morning show? Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
As it turns
Pneumonia is not the only thing you got. Got
What
a
is-
little older.
What does that mean?
Yeah, what does that mean?
I don't know.
You aged a little bit, lost your hair.
Yeah.
Dr. Beast brought it back.
Yeah, we're working on that.
Goose said, what were the ratings like before you left radio? Imagine they had to be pretty high to have confidence to launch your own brand. We never really bragged about ratings.
Yeah, they were always really good.
Yeah,
You know,
we will now, though.
I'll do it
My
right
God.
now. They were fantastic. They
Yeah.
were really good.
Yeah, we wouldn't have done this if we didn't think it would have worked. There's one way we knew it was going to work, right?
In fact, we have 2 axe sizes here. Imagine one of them being the small axe being some people's ratings. Ours is the other axe. It was big ratings.
Yep. Ken says, if your significant others were polled, who would they determine was the worst roommate? Well, Jim's never home.
Yes,
But
I
I'm-
guarantee you Maggie loves the setup.
I pay for.
You pay for everything.
You're never there.
You wash your own clothes.
I do.
And you're never there.
Yeah.
I cook my own dinner a lot of nights.
Do you?
Again, I want to ask you. So, why are you married?
Well, I'll again, co-owner over here pointed out that I didn't have my ring on.
Oh, I've pointed that out before too.
Yeah.
I had to tell her that my fingers are a little fatter than they need to be right now.
You know what he said? I've gained 8 pounds.
I love how you're the only person
know.
that knows specifically how much weight they are.
Well, it was 7 pounds until we went to the Barons game
See?
the other night. It was $1 hot dog. So I had one of those, had 2 beers. Then we had the sausage dog. And then Brown drugged me down the right field line and had 2 scoops of ice cream.
Yeah, it was all me.
Then I had some of Maggie's birthday cake when I got home.
Do you weigh, Brown? I haven't weighed in a couple of years.
I do weigh, yeah. I mean, I just like no. I'm one of those that is driven by being able to see my own progress. So I like to know where I stand. Now, let me tell you what they got right over there. They got cupcakes that came from a local bakery that is not too far from our studio, and they got them from the one that's out here. And those things are going to be hard to say no to.
Yeah.
Those are dang good cupcakes if you've never had them.
191.4 today.
0.4 to be specific. Michael wants to know, LT, what kind of actor would you wanted to be if you had made it in acting?
I always wanted to be a supporting actor.
Really? You
Yeah.
didn't want to be the main guy? You
I
never
really
want to be
didn't.
the main guy. Why?
Mm-mm.
Comedy or drama?
Probably drama. I just I think there's something really interesting about the supporting roles. I think some of the best performances I've ever seen are supporting actor performances. Javier Bardem in No Country for Old Men.
Yeah.
Well, I'm telling you,
J.K. Simmons in Whiplash.
if you follow us on the show, you know we're watching Mad Men again, all of us, or some of us for the first time just years later. And I texted LT yesterday, I think it was, episode 6, season 5. Artistically well done. One of the best hours of television.
And I'd forgotten, but it's a Roger Sterling moment, right?
It is 3.
Now, which one is this?
It's season 5, episode 6. I'll just call it the Howard Johnson LSD episode. It's one storyline told from 3 people, 3 different views.
Okay.
Peggy, Rogers, and Don Draper's. Yep.
But
They all had 3 big things happen, but they all intersected.
But back to supporting actors, Roger Sterling's the best character on the show.
He is. He's my favorite character. John Slattery, is that his name?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good actor. NAAU fan says, when can we expect the documentary? I'm looking forward to that more than football season.
Well, we're figuring out the 13 parts right now, the 13 episodes.
We got to figure out how we're going to do it. I love how he's going from not even wanting to do it to planning out like 13 episodes.
Yeah,
You'll remember the first time I ever brought it up. He's like, nobody wants to hear that.
I think but you take
No, you
credit
did.
for it now, right?
I don't take credit.
Well,
but-
he's planning it out
No,
now.
but the way you should do it is
See?
13 shorter episodes so it doesn't get all blended together in just a big mash of us
But
talking for 3 hours.
We've got to storyboard this.
We do.
exactly.
We get the storyboard.
Exactly. We
And
do 13 episodes, and one of them would be like such and such.
Yeah.
You know, one episode could be contract negotiation 2011, but it just need to be fragmented
Yeah.
like that so you don't have to consume it all at one time.
Right. We got the phone ringing off the hook over there. You hear that? It's like a telethon in here all of a sudden.
Oh.
Michael asked, how did we first meet Marty Smith? Have we ever hung out outside of being on the air? I actually told this story not long ago. It's one of my favorite stories from when we first started or when we have been together. Marty was, when he was first on ESPN, Marty was a NASCAR writer for NASCAR.com, and he moved over to ESPN, and he started doing on-camera stuff during NASCAR. And just one day out of the blue, Rockstar says, have y'all seen this new guy on ESPN that does the NASCAR? And I was like, yeah, that's Marty Smith from NASCAR.com. And then Rockstar did an invitation, and we started laughing. Well, our friend Hannah Kinderconnect, who you've heard called Alabama Hannah by Marty, worked at the Talladega Super Speedway. She was good friends with Marty, and she texted me and said, the funny thing is, y'all would love Marty. He's just like you guys. So I text her back, and I'm like, get him to come on the show. So we set it up. He comes on. And y'all have listened to the show enough to know how like Dunaway will say something or Lance will read a commercial and I'll bring the guest in. So I say, ESPN's Marty Smith joins us now, on the Bud Light hotline. Welcome in, Marty. And all he says is, so let me get this straight. Somebody from Alabama is making fun of my accent. And we laugh. We're like, that's Rockstar. That's Rockstar. And he goes, well, I got to hear it now. And, Rockstar was like, I don't want to know. No, Rockstar, do it. So Rockstar does it. And then it's just awkward silence after he finishes. And Marty goes, that's pretty damn good, I got to say. And we knew then that's our guy, right? It was fantastic.
Yeah, I think you've hung out with him a couple of times. I hung out with him one time, media days in Atlanta. He always seems like he's doing his own thing.
Yeah, Marty is, he's pretty busy at events like that. That's normally when we're around him. But we did do you weren't with us for the Copenhagen Bandit was that just me and you? At the Talladega Speedway, the big one on the boulevard?
Big one on the boulevard, yep.
Yeah. We hung out with him that night, and that was a trip.
Yep. That's the easiest money I ever made. 3 microphones. One of them was Marty Smith, and the other one was Brown. I don't remember saying a word. I don't remember.
That was a shot at me. That was not.
Who was the driver that took the mic?
Clint Boyer, wasn't
Clint Boyer took my microphone.
Yeah, Clint Boyer took his microphone. And
Brown didn't say anything either.
No, I just backed out. It was Marty and Clint Boyer most of the time.
Which was a lot better than Brown and I would have been. It was
Absolutely.
hilarious.
It was hilarious. But it was Marty with his people, NASCAR drivers and infield rednecks at Talladega.
Yeah. Boyer was fantastic.
Yeah, Boyer was hilarious.
What was they even called it a weenie eating contest.
Hot dog. Yeah, what did they call it? Chase the weenie?
Yeah.
Grab the weenie. Grab the weenie. I think. You grab the weenie. And then there was was it barbecue sauce wrestling?
Barbecue sauce wrestling.
Yeah. And Marty, Marty was in his element, man. He was in his element. All right. That's been more than an hour. We went overtime. Axe downtown in Trussville. Come see this place. It's beautiful right here in the this new entertainment district in Trussville. I've got the address right here. If you'll give me 2 seconds, I'll give you the address. It is 211 Main in Trussville. You can call them at 537-1029 or info at axedowntown.com. And our good friends with Hemphill Services are here too.
205-229-2090 since 1954. Plumbing, cooling, heating, anything you need. That is the name Birmingham has trusted. It's the name we all use.
I love recommending sponsors, but when they're as good as Hemphill, it's been fantastic. Like I had forget her name, but she was 8 months pregnant. And she DM'd me on Twitter and says, my air conditioning. So this was just a few months ago. My air conditioning's out.
Mm-hmm.
And who's that company again that you say fixes right? And I said, oh, that's Hemphill. So I looked up the number on my phone.
And their technician delivered the baby while they were there, right?
It was close. It was close. It was close. But she wrote back and she says, I think I'm going to buy a whole new unit from them.
Wow.
That they were so nice and educated, blah, 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 blah. You know the story. Fix it right. Fix it first time.
That's right.
Says I could be,
especially for pregnant women.
Yeah.
Wayne says, hey, I finally get to hear you guys again. Welcome in, Wayne.
Where's
Just found
Wayne
us from his own. I don't know. He's on Facebook. Looked like he just found us out of the blue. Welcome in. 9 to 1 every day. Tune in right here. All right.
But it's not one now, Brown.
Huh?
It's not one now.
Well, no, this is an extra show from Axe downtown in Trussville with Hemphill Services. We'll see you guys 9 o'clock tomorrow. Have a great evening and come see the people here at Axe downtown in Trussville. Are you here to throw an axe? Oh,
yeah,
okay.
that's
well, I've never met her. I'm sorry.
Way to go, Dunaway.
She's getting ready for the Beer Olympics on Saturday.
Oh, is she?
Thank God somebody said yes.
Is she on Team Ukraine? Is she coming over?
She's on
Ukraine.
I think we switched to Team Swedish.
Oh,
it's
Team
still
Sweden.
Rams colors.
Still Rams colors. Yeah.
Well, why? Because
not as much controversy.
What's controversial?
controversial?
Ukraine. I mean, they got invaded.
Yeah, I know. I just they've got a lot going on right now.
They don't need the weight. Your weight on them.
Put your minds on the game.
But they would get a win with the team I've compiled.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Dunaway, you got to get to work on this.
Sounds like you're walking
I
into.
I did text 3 people my dream team today, and they cannot come.
All 3 said no.
All 3 said no.
Wow.
It's like you're back in high school.
I went Willard and the 2 Hendrickses.
Oh yeah, it would have been a good team.
Courtney's very athletic.
Yeah. Do you have to?
Very competitive.
Does it have to be co-ed or can it be 4 dudes?
Got to have at least one female.
Got to have one female on the team.
Right. Okay.
Yep. Or me, the way I throw the axe.
Yeah, it'd be 2 females on Dunaway's team. Yeah. All right. Well, that's going to do it. See you guys tomorrow, 9 to 1. Come to Axe Downtown in Trussville and use Hemphill Services.
Tomorrow on the show,
Okay.
Rockstar's Lounge.
That's right. Montana Fouts.
Montana Fouts, gold medal.
Gold medalist. Yep. A lot of stuff.
Yeah. And go check Charles Barkley out in the podcast section also on YouTube.
Yep.
Wrap us up, Brown.
I've done that twice now, Jim. That's going to do it. We'll see you tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Thanks.